Imagine walking through a dense jungle. The air is heavy, your clothes are sticking to your skin, and every step you take echoes with sounds you can't quite place. Suddenly, when you hear a rustle that isn't just the wind, and you realize that you are not alone. Across the world, jungles have been home to terrifying legends. Some involve creatures that may just be misunderstood animals, others sound like nightmares made flesh. Today we're going to be exploring some of the most disturbing legends about creatures said to live deep in the world's jungles. Hidden deep in the jungles of Guyana is the legend of the Didi, a large, hairy, human-like creature that locals say stalks the forest. It's often compared to Bigfoot, but unlike North American stories, the Didi is described as more aggressive. Hunters in the region claim to have heard its guttural growls and seen huge footprints leading into dense brush. Some reports describe it stealing food from villages or chasing people who stray too far into the forest. Anthropologists think the Didi may come from cultural memories of giant sloths or encounters with unrecorded primates. Others dismiss it as a story told to keep children from wandering off into dangerous areas. But the number of consistent sightings across generations make the Didi one of the eeriest legends from South America's lesser-known jungles. Picture this. You're trekking through the Sumatran jungle when you catch sight of a small figure covered in hair darting between trees. This is the orang pendek, which translates to short person. It's described as a human-like primate about 3 to 5 feet tall, walking upright on 2 legs. For more than a century, explorers, Dutch colonists, and modern researchers have reported seeing it. In the 1920s, a Dutch settler even swore he saw it cross a path just a few feet ahead of him. Scientists have suggested it might be an undiscovered primate species, or even a surviving relative of early humans. Regardless of what it is, stories of the orang pendek have never gone away. Expeditions as recently as the early 2000s collected footprints and hair samples that some say point to a real, unknown species living in Sumatra's jungles. In Zambia and parts of the Congo, people talk about a flying creature with leathery wings, sharp teeth, and a wingspan reaching 6 feet across. It is called the Kongamato, which means overturner of boats. According to legend, it swoops down on rivers and attacks fishermen, tearing at their boats with its claws. Eyewitnesses describe it as looking like a living pterosaur, the prehistoric flying reptiles thought to have died out millions of years ago. Some colonial-era explorers in the early 1900s even collected stories from locals who insisted they had seen and fought with the beast. While skeptics say it could be large bats or even storks, the consistency of the reports over generations have kept this legend alive. The very idea of a prehistoric predator still lurking in remote jungles terrifies even seasoned explorers. Imagine camping in the highland forests of Kenya and waking in the night to the sound of heavy footsteps circling your tent. The creature blamed for this is the Nandi bear, also called chemosit. Locals describe it as a huge hyena-like beast with a sloping back, thick fur, and a vicious appetite. Stories say it attacks the heads of its victims, leaving the rest of the body behind. While no physical evidence has ever been found, the legend is so deeply ingrained in Kenyan folklore that colonial hunters in the 1900s launched expeditions just to find it. Some think this bear may have been based on sightings of giant prehistoric hyenas that once roamed Africa. Others say it is just a misidentified large hyena. Either way, the idea of a night-stalking predator that preys only on the head is enough to keep people wary of the dark forests. Deep in the jungles of Vietnam, Laos, and Borneo, there are stories of a hairy, human-like creature called the Batutut. American soldiers during the Vietnam War claimed to have seen them, describing them as muscular, covered in hair, and about 6 feet tall. Villagers, however, have been telling stories of this creature for centuries. face. They are said to walk upright, live in remote areas, and sometimes raid crops or livestock. Some anthropologists think these stories might be cultural memories of earlier human species like Homo erectus, while others argue they are simply misidentified animals. Yet the consistency of the sightings, especially during modern conflict like the Vietnam War, has kept the legend alive. The thought of soldiers in the middle of combat running into something unexplained in the jungle only adds to the creepiness. Few legends are more disturbing than the one about the Yacumama. In the Amazon basin, locals fear a massive serpent said to be over 100 feet long. Its name means Mother of the Water, and according to legend, it lurks in rivers and lakes, creating whirlpools to suck in its prey. Some explorers in the 1900s reported hearing strange booming noises underwater that locals insisted were the Yacumama calling out. Cryptozoologists suggest the legend may have come from sightings of massive anacondas, which can reach lengths of over 20 feet. While no confirmed snake longer than that has ever been reported, rumors of truly gigantic ones persist. The very idea of something that massive silently gliding beneath murky jungle waters is enough to keep anyone from swimming too far out. Not all jungle legends involve giant beasts. Some are about small, eerie figures. Across Central and South America, people tell stories of the Duende, little goblin-like creatures that live in forests and jungles. They are usually described as small, humanoid, and mischievous, sometimes helping lost travelers, but more often luring them deeper into danger. Spanish colonists in the 16th century reported hearing about duendes from indigenous people, and the legend spread widely. In Belize, they are said to kidnap people who wander into the forest alone. In other countries, they whistle to confuse travelers, and some historians think that the Duende legend may be a cultural way of warning people about the dangers of wandering off alone in thick forests. But for those who swear they've seen them, the Duende are very real and very disturbing. In the rainforests of Java, villagers speak of a terrifying bat-like creature called the Ahool. Its wings are said to stretch over 10 feet wide, and its cry echoes through the trees at night. The Ahool is described as looking like a massive bat or even a flying primate with leathery wings. In 1925, a Dutch naturalist claimed he saw a huge bat-like animal near a river in West Java, sparking interest in the legend outside Indonesia. Some scientists argue it could be sightings of giant owls or fruit bats, but locals insist the Ahool is something far more sinister. To them, it's a predator that swoops down from the jungle canopy, hunting at night. The thought of a giant, bloodthirsty bat gliding silently over the treetops has made the Ahool one of Southeast Asia's most unsettling jungle creatures. In the jungles of Veracruz and Oaxaca in Mexico, people speak of the Chaneque, forest spirits that are said to guard nature. They are described as small, elf-like beings that can trick travelers and lead them astray. What makes the legend so unsettling is that people claim encounters with them leave victims sick or mentally disoriented, sometimes for weeks. Anthropologists trace the legend back to the Totonac and Naua mythology, where they were guardians of the earth. Even today, reports of people hearing laughter or seeing small figures vanish into the jungle continue. For locals, it's not just a myth. They leave offerings to these creatures to stay safe in the forests, proof that this disturbing legend still has power. In the mid-1990s, reports began to pour out of Puerto Rico about a strange creature attacking livestock at night. Farmers would wake up to find goats, chickens, and even cattle drained of blood with small puncture wounds on their necks. The culprit, according to locals, was the Chupacabra, which literally means goat sucker. Descriptions of the creature vary, but many say it has red glowing eyes, spines along its back, and walks on two legs. What makes this legend disturbing is that the reports quickly spread across Latin America, especially in Mexico, where villagers swore they had seen the creature lurking in jungle-like terrain near farms. Scientists suggest the attacks were caused by wild dogs or even mange-ridden coyotes, but the eerie consistency of the wounds and the sheer number of eyewitness accounts turned the Chupacabra into one of the most famous cryptids in history. Even today, locals warn about it, and strange livestock killings are still sometimes blamed on this blood-sucking creature. Alright guys, that's been our list for today. Thanks so much for checking it out. I've been your host today, Olivia Kozlowski, and I will see you again soon. Goodbye.